This is a fantasy story based on reality.
Once upon a time there was Renato and Nadin. They liked adventures and to discover the world. Long before this current travel to Tenerife, the young princess Mila nominated them to Nadin and put them under a protection spell so that they can always count on getting help. The travel to the island started with getting a glimpse of the life from a hermit who lives alone in the mountain. When they left there, they did not have yet a direct plan and didn't know where to go precisely. But anyway, they walked down the mountain with good cheer and started their search for an accommodation in the next village. Unfortunately, they realized that the clues they got before seemed to be right, that there are a lot of tourists and overall at this time of the year. All the asking around and searching in their magical device did not lead to a result in their budget. They marched more towards north, and as until the evening they didn't find anything, they finally gave up. Nadin wanted to take this chance, as they heard stories from the hermit how he spent countless nights at the beach. They decided to try this out. They found some rocks where they felt safe to sleep. As they were not prepared for something like that, they were creative and used their clothes to get the underground more comfortable. The temperature was fine, and if it cools down, their sleeping bag would protect them. Like that, this night was not so relaxing, but they got filled with wonder about the star sky that surrounded them, and they were waking up seeing directly the beauty of the white sea. This is what made the next day starting in a special way. They packed everything and kept walking towards north. Nadin decided to pay the higher price for the next nights and used the time intensively to find a good longer-term solution. As they had for more than 1 week less comfort, they felt that things like a bed, access to a kitchen, and a hot shower was very luxury. They enjoyed the feeling that they can appreciate these things in such a deep way. Overall, after seeing them before their travel as a matter of course. It was that much that they just left the place in the 3 days to get food.
Just a small break for some advertisement. Offer today this small tree as a souvenir from Canary Island. And you can get some other crazy plants. Join our prize game to win the souvenir. How many trees do you see?
Nadin used the time there for the research and were sending countless electronic telegrams. At first also with no success, until one single option appeared at the end. A beautiful big red house decorated with loving details will be their home for a while. It was a little outlying in the mountain, and through a kitchen window you could see the sea between the trees. Full of joy they arrived and were received nicely. But after a while, Nadin realized that they just lived together for convenience and they had no interest in interact. So there they could not make friends, and Nadine fast felt lonely and wanted to search for nice people somewhere else. She found out before that this area was attractive for local independent traveling workers, so-called digital nomads. Soon there was an event where these kind of people meet and moved from bar to bar. This was impressive that there were so many of them participating, but it was not so easy to have nice conversations in a loud bar. But in her situation, Nadine took any option that could help her. So she found a so-called co-living where they have weekly barbecue. This is a building where these digital nomads can live and work on their magical devices together. Here she met Eve, and with the time they got friends. He even helped her to discover a secret, difficult, accessible beach. They could talk very long about everything and anything. Nadine really enjoyed listening to his experiences of this lifestyle. Also, Nadine were discovering the surroundings together. It seemed like they do not walk here so much, as the ways were not so attractive for wandering around. So they took the way watching out all the time, and after 1 hour hike downhill they found access to the sea. But the stairs ended quite surprisingly, and they saw quite a few warning notices. They observed the scenery for a while, wave after wave arriving, some stronger and faster than the other one. Suddenly a night appeared, and as if it was the most natural thing in the world, he waited shortly for the right moment to go down and walked light-footed on the wet stones. This gave courage to Nadine, and they tried the same. After a short time, they decided to go back, and Renato reached safe 3 stairs, but Nadine not. At least she was able to hold up one leg so that just one foot got wet. Luckily it was warm and not that uncomfortable while walking. They took another way up the mountain that was quite tiring, but the many breaks helped to try the shoe and sock and to actually enjoy the incredible views and the beauty of the cliffs. On another day, they went to the more easy reachable beach and liked the black sand and the scenery. They also discovered a secret way. Just the nose did not like it so much. And oh my god, what a huge snake! Ah no, it's just a painted route. They made more smaller excursions, and Nadine kept searching friends. So she found an angel called Julia, who was always full of energy, and it was impossible to resist her glory. Her mission is it to protect these digital nomads and make sure that they can concentrate good for fulfilling their tasks. Especially for that, she created a place. It helps the people to find her good and work efficiently. Julia also supported Nadine in her search, and she took the opportunity of a very special occasion that is just happening once a year. The mysterious name of it is Carnival. They celebrated very long on the island with countless rituals. Julia was calling together some chosen ones to have a nice and funny time together. They heard from Juliet that there are magical ways that are called barranco. Coming from the top of the mountain, they lead to the sea. She is always using one to walk down the hill and reach her office paradise without walking along the street. So Nadin got curious and wanted to take one near their home. It did not look welcoming and did not seem to be a way. They passed anyway, and the magic worked on them. Nadin turned into a child that likes risks and wants to go all in for discovery. Renata, on the other hand, became very responsible and serious. They were punching through the bushes and climbing downhill. It was already evening, and with the rising darkness, Renata got more nervous and Nadin more adventurous. When the last bit of light disappeared, Renata's superpower got activated. He was able to see very clearly in the night. That is how he saw the cliffs that were shortly before them. So they needed to accept that this barranco was no shortcut to the beach, and they turned around. They did not want to go back all the way crawling and climbing, so they took another exit that turned out to be a portal to another dimension. They saw a lot of crazy dressed people who were mostly wearing dark mourning clothes. Eye-catching was also that the men were dressed like women. Then a huge Neptune was appearing, and it seemed that the people honored him, because there was a small parade in front of him. They were dancing, made loud music. In this way, they were crossing the town, and these countless strange dressed people followed along until they reached a big square. They carried Neptune as a start, quite joyful on their hands, until they placed him on a special place. Everybody was staring at Neptune until suddenly there were many cracks, and Neptune started burning. The others did not seem to be surprised. They reacted more with a mix of cheering and whining.
Don't try this at home. Parents are responsible for their children.
After there was nothing left from Neptune, a party started as if nothing has happened. Nadin realized that they are transforming back to themselves, and they joined the party. After this exciting day, they slept like babies, and the next day they used for relaxing. Nadin dived in her books, and Renato dedicated his time, his creativity. He drew one after the other masterpiece. Renato wanted to make his sweetheart happy and prepared her preferred dish that they enjoyed eating on the terrace. But this lightness shall not remain longer, because they woke up the next night from the noises the strong wind caused outside. The next morning they saw that there is a strong storm outside. They were paralyzed, but felt safe in the house as if they were inside a fort. They spent the day quite unrelaxed. Finally, after a while, the storm was over, but the sky turned into an apocalyptic color. With the time, they got more information about the happenings. This was the so-called Calima storm. This is a phenomenon happening more and more often, that the sand from the Sahara was blown all the way to the islands. However, during the last half century, it was not happening that such a strong storm appeared together with Calima and caused such a strong chaos on the islands. Many fires started and countless damages occurred. Also, plants and trees suffered injuries. It took quite some time until everything got cleared up. Also, the working paradise from Julia got quite destroyed. But as an angel, she got support from heaven, like patience, strength, and the power to keep going. This is how the space co-working has been brought back to life and was shining again in his glory with all his unique charm. As mentioned before, Nadin did not really feel comfortable in their home because of the distant behavior. I want to go away from here. So they kept searching. If they found something and how everything continued, you will hear in the next story. So what do you think? What was the moral of the story for you?
Join our blah. Join our prize game to win. I don't like it, but there you go.